was made there to be champions. We are winning.
Please let us rise up for the procession.
Oh, there is sweet rainbow, allure my feelings, make it so timeless. One race for zenith, we together began one day. You led me on as we've come this far. We fixed our shoulders and determined just to win. You led me on as a race was made there to be champions. We are winning.
us be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are all welcome to the Faculty of Environmental first lecture series. First and foremost, I want to invite the dignitaries to the high table. I will start from the Chief Executive of this university, Professor Razaki Olatunde Ram Kalilu, ably represented by DVC Academic. The registrar of this great university, Mrs. Olayinka Balogun. Welcome, sir. Solomon Olusegun Oyetola. The Dean of Environmental Sciences, Professor Margaret Arel. The Vice Chancellor, sir. In our midst here, I want to recognize the presence of Provost, College of Earth Sciences, Professor Adenike Olubenga. The Provost, College of Agriculture and Renewable Resources, Professor Abel Ogunwale. Dean, Faculty of Food and Consumer Sciences, Professor Emmanuel Oladapo Akande. Welcome, sir. Dean, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Professor Sakios Adeyemo. Welcome, sir. Dean, Faculty of Pure and Applied Sciences, Professor Adeshope Alade. We have members of HODs from the Faculty of Environmental Sciences here. Professor Odunjo Olarunke is from the Aki HOD, Aki. FAA, Dr. Akinde Toyin. Geoinformatics, Professor James Ige. HOD Survey, Dr. Hassan Nimaruf. Estate Management, URP, Dr. Adetunji Michael, Professor Adetunji Michael, sorry. The Faculty Officer, Mr. Olosho Kamali. I'm very sorry, sir. Dr. Olosho Kamali. Deputy Dean for the Environmental Sciences, Professor Muili Akim. We have the Acting Dean of Faculty of Nursing here, Dr. Ganiat Adeniro. will do the introduction in a segment. I want to call on Professor Margaret Areo for welcome address.
The Vice Chancellor, sir, ably represented by Professor Mr. Olatokun, the Librarian, Professor Adekunke Ibijua, ably represented by Dr. Oyetola, Deans here present, Professors, HODs, my faculty officer, students and fellow colleagues, you are welcome to the first Environmental Sciences Lecture Series. Building or shelter is the third most essential of human needs, and the environment first identifies through the buildings wherever you find yourself. Wherever you find yourself, the first identification are the buildings. Lekki, for example, is different from Ajegunle. Building determines the socio-cultural life of a people. Building in an environment is determined by the geographical and climatic location. What you will find in southwestern Nigeria is quite different from what you will see in the northern environment. The building a person lives in is also determined by his financial status and who his neighbors are. But who no like better thing? Because of the cost of building materials, we have cases of collapsing buildings around us in the environment. And just recently I was going through the account of a man, and I would like to share it with you for you to know the importance of building in a human being's life. He said how much, but it was enough to secure a room in the deepest ghetto of the market area. It was sat in the shadows, beaming their flashlights at every passerby, solicited from drug use or bleeding from a street fight. It was there I saw the rawest side of humanity. Prostitutes raising children in the same tiny rooms where they service customers. That's a description of a building for you. And that was what his finances could afford. But today, Professor Raim, an erudite scholar and a professor of building, is giving us an expose on alternative and affordable materials that can be utilized to have sustainable environment of sustainable buildings over our head. And today we are welcoming you to listen with rapt attention so that we can know what are those things we can use, what are those materials we can utilize to have a building over our head. Happily, the man who wrote this account today is a lawyer, because eventually, as he was being a night guard, he was also struggling to be a student in UI. So the environment we live in matters. The building under which we live matters. It affects our life mentally, physically, even emotionally. Under the roof under which we live is a big impact, has a big impact on our life. And today we are listening to how to get alternative materials to have a sustainable development and a good building over our heads. I welcome you once again, and I enjoy you to pay rapt attention as Professor Raim delivers his lecture. Thank you so much for coming. You are all welcome.
Thank you, Ma. I want to specially recognize Alaja Badirat Kaindi Rahim, the wife of Professor Rahim. Welcome, Ma. Former Dean of Environmental Sciences, Professor Thompson Adeboyejo. Welcome, sir. Dean, Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, Dr. Waheed Saka. Welcome, sir. Dean, Clinical Sciences, Professor Ladoke Akintolauniversity. Welcome, sir. Dean, Faculty of Art and Social Sciences, Professor Ebijua, ably represented by Professor Adeolu Adeniji. Welcome, sir. I want to call on the Vice Chancellor to deliver his address.
Thank you. The registrar, the University Bossa, University Liberia, the Provost, College of Earth Sciences, the Provost, College of Agri-Science and Renewable Natural Resources, the Deans here present, the HOD from the department, the Dean of today's Faculty of Lecture Series, Professor Mrs. Margaret Areu. I bring warm greetings from the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ladoke Akintolauniversity, who is unavoidably absent because of his tight schedule. At this important occasion of the Faculty of Environmental Science Lecture Series, and he has graciously appointed me to come and represent him. This lecture today, Professor Akim Rahim, is not only timely but highly relevant. As we face rising construction costs, environmental degradation, and urgent need for sustainable infrastructure, the exploration of alternative building materials offer practical and innovative pathway forward. This university strongly supports research and knowledge dissemination that address real societal challenges. This first lecture series in the Faculty of Environmental Sciences reflects university commitment that this lecture series will not only stimulate intellectual discourse but also inspire practical solutions that can transform the building industry and contribute meaningfully to national development. I commend the Faculty of the Environmental Sciences under the leadership of Professor Margaret Areu for this laudable initiative of this lecture. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ladoke Akintolauniversity, I welcome you all to this august occasion. Thank you all. I wish you a fruitful engagement.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful address. With the permission of the Vice Chancellor, I would like to invite Dr. Moruf Asani for the citation of the guest lecturer.
Vice Chancellor, Principal Officers here present, Provost, the Dean, Faculty of Environmental Sciences, the Chief Celebrant of the day, other deans present, distinguished professors and scholars. San is Asani, so don't call me Asani. I am here to present to you the citation of Professor A.A. Rahim, the guest lecturer of today. Rahim Akintolauniversity is a professor from Ladoke is a professor of building from Ladoke Akintolauniversity of Technology, Ladoke Ogbomoso, Nigeria. He holds a PhD in building structures from Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, Ile-Ife, Nigeria. He is a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Building, FNIOB. He is presently the head of department, Ladoke, head of building department, Ladoke Ogbomoso, Nigeria. As an active researcher and project leader, he has led some funded researches and has more than 80 articles in reputable journals locally and internationally, to his credit. In terms of project supervision, he has successfully supervised to completion 8 PhD theses, some of whom may have become professors by now. So he is a professor of professors. 20 MTech dissertations and over 500 BTech students projects, while many are still ongoing. Professor Rahim's current research interest is in the area of incorporation of agricultural residues such as rice husk ash, wood ash, corn cob ash, etc., etc., in cement and concrete. So we can refer to him as a professor of waste to wealth. He has served as professorial assessor to many universities within and outside Nigeria. He has also taught at various levels as a visiting professor at the University of Lagos, Caleb University, Lagos, to notable local and international journals. Examples are USEP, Research Journal, Department of Building, University of Lagos, Nigeria, Journal of Construction and Building Materials, SVIA, United Kingdom, Sustainability and Open Access Journal, Switzerland, and so on and so on. He also served as a guest editor for Materials Today Proceedings, volume 86 of 2022. He was the pioneer editor-in-chief for Lautech Journal of Civil and Environmental Studies, LAUJOSES, from 2017 to 2025. That is 8 solid years sustainable leadership. During his tenure as the chief editor, LAUJOSES produced 15 volumes of the journal within that period. He is the team leader, Cement and Concrete, that is ChemCon Research Group, Ladoke Ogbomoso, Nigeria. ChemCon is known throughout the world, and that particular group has invited people of timber and caliber, intellectual giants from across the world to Lautech. So Professor Rahim is among the few who puts Lautech on the world map. At the Faculty of Environmental Science, Lautech, Ogbomoso, Professor Rahim has served and still serving as Chairman, Curriculum Committee, Chairman, Faculty Research and Journal Publication Committee, and Local Organizing Committee, LOC Chairman, for the first ever organized international conference of Faculty of Environmental Sciences held from 14th to 17th October 2025. Just like this first lecture series. So that was the first faculty international conference during the tenure of Professor Mrs. Margaret Areho. Congratulations, ma. At professional level, builder Professor A.A. Rahim, fellow Nigerian Institute of Building, has served the Nigerian Institute of Building NIOB in various capacities, among which are member Research and Development Committee, editor-in-chief the Professional Builder, and presently chairman Research and Development Committee and chairman Association of Builders in Academia, ABA. He is up with a number of wonderful children. I hereby present to you a distinguished potential Professor Emeritus, Professor Abdurrahim Abdulhakim Ayinde, a Professor of Building, an internationally recognized and acknowledged professor, a builder of not only houses and shelters but a builder of brains too, a seasoned administrator, a successful academic, an intellectual giant, a gentle, soft-spoken but with lion mind, indefatigable and incurable optimist, successful achiever and role model, innovative and imaginative, enviable success personified. Ìgbéka ẹ̀bìtìká ẹ̀bìtìtì ògbójú ò lè pàgbé bọ̀dá Akíìmù pátákó ẹ̀fọ̀ tí tajá lẹ́nu kákáká ọ̀tá gbogbo ọkùnrin kẹ̀kẹ́ láyà. Akíìmù máa kírun, Akíìmù máa kírun, ìwọ ló mọ̀rọ̀ tó bọ́lódùmarè sọ, Akíìmù máa kírun.
Thank you very much. That was a very good one from. I think you can come downstairs so that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are welcome. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Razak Olatuderom Kalilu, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics and Innovation, our own Professor Dauda Araromi. You are welcome. The Deputy Vice Chancellor, Strategy and Development, the Registrar, she came in personally to enter this girl. But a few minutes ago, she has to step out at the instance of the Vice Chancellor. I recognize her. The Bossa, who is also here in person. Thank you very much. The Librarian, heads of department, all of them are represented here, URP, Estate, Aki, etc. The university congregation and other staff, distinguished invited guests, friends and well-wishers, greatest Ladokite. Are you here or not? Greatest Ladokite. Greatest Boba. Greatest Bosa. You are welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to be in front of you today to deliver the maiden edition of the Faculty of Environmental Science lecture series. It has always been the aim and the will of the present day that we should commence this lecture series. And I want to commend our effort for our doggedness, and I want to thank Almighty God for the realization of this dream. We are starting now in the Faculty of Environmental Science, and henceforth you will hear more of us. You see us live and direct. Now, talking about building without stress. The basic essentialities of life are three: food, can combine water with food, shelter, and clothing. And these exercises of life are what makes life easier. Without any of them, life is incomplete and it becomes unbearable. Now, shelter is the area where we are concerned with, and that is building. And shelter has always been the concern of every individual. If you see anybody that begins work today, the next thing you'll be thinking of is how to get a house of his own. And that is not perfect, because until you own your own house, landlords increase their rents nowadays. You will just wake up and say your house rent has been doubled. And then you will now be looking of what to do again. So it has always been the dream of every person to own his own house. And that's when we can say Ashiribo. If you don't have a house, Ashiri Otibo. So it's only when you own your own house that you can then say yes, you are now well covered. Now, buildings can be of various types based on the purpose for which it was designed. It can be residential building, you can have commercial building, you can have industrial building, institutional building, and religious building. For the purpose of this lecture, we are going to dwell basically on residential building. The other types of building, of course, can easily be obtained since it's a collective effort. You can make people to build churches, build houses. It's not individual. But residential building is your own, and you are the one to take care of how to build. Now, how are you going to make sure that building will be done without too much stress on your own life? Now, even talking about this residential building, we have different types. There is a popular one that is called face me, I face you. Some people call it face me, I slap you. That one is the lying room, 4 rooms here, 4 rooms here, common toilet, common bathroom. Those of you that have stayed in that place before, you always know the wahala and the struggle there. Either for bedroom, either for kitchen, even for cleaning of the compound. You have a lot of problems. But it is still a recognized form of building, especially in crowded areas like Lagos, Abuja, and so on, where you just go to work, get a room, just to sleep and get away. We have room and parlor. That's a bit private. At least you have your own self-contained apartment. You have your room, you have a parlor, you have your kitchen, no interference. Then we have the block of flats. You still be having neighbors, but everybody has his own self-contained apartment. And the interaction will always be maybe at the parlor or so on. Then you have the story-stroke high-rise building, which is attendant building tall, that is also there. Then of course you now have the duplex, and that duplex has to do with when you now want to build a mansion. You have arrived. Owo ti de. So you can do that. Now the next slide tells us about the various types of buildings depending on your economic power. You can see the first type there. That's what I call being oppressed house. Ile ara nimi. When the landlord is pursuing you everywhere and there, let's just get something and move in. You have the room. One thing that is very common is once you are able to put on the roof of your building, you can move in the next day. You just look for something to cover the window and put something on the door. You can start living inside. That's the first one, that you can stay there. The second one has to do with something that is now living a rentable house. You have been able to do it to some extent. You can live in there. You can even rent some bit out. And the third one has to do with when you are now arrived, the mansion. You have now arrived. Now, the common vision in all these three types of building is what? The material. The common feature is the material. Whether ile ara nimi o, ile akogbe o, or mansion, you must use the building material. And there has been studies to show that the cost of building material alone accounts for about 2/3 of the total cost of building. So that means if you are able to get the material well, then especially if you are able to reduce the cost of material, you will be able to get your own house without more stress. We have basically 3 types of material. There is the conventional, there is the local, and there is the innovative material. The conventional materials are very expensive, imported materials. Those ones are the ones you use for your mansion if you want to. Then we have the local materials that are within the reach. But you know our people, because of ego matters, they will not want to use material. Whereas these are materials that have been tested and trusted, which you can use to build and can even give you some additional advantage, better than some of these conventional materials. And that is why we researchers now go on to do what we call innovative materials. We combine the local materials and the conventional material to strike a balance. So it's not local, it's not conventional, but innovative with additional qualities which will now improve even your comfort right inside the building. So that is innovative material. Like I said, material cost alone is about 2/3 of the total cost of building. And if you are able to now reduce the cost of the material, then you are on a long way. Stress when you are building. Don't go and start using conventional material, especially if that is your first house. For your first house, look for locally available material that are cheaper that you can use to build and move in. By the time you move in, other construction work will be on, and by the time you now arrive, you can go and build a mansion. It is not what is there. Now, what are we saying? In building this local material, we want to consider about 7 different materials that can be used to ensure that you have a building that is sound and suitable and which you can stay in without fear of favor. Now, they talk about supplementary cementitious replacement, aggregate replacement, laterite interlocking block, bamboo reinforcement, farm pine reinforcement, neighboring pozzolana, and neighboring roofing sheet. Now, talking about the cement material, you agree with me that the most commonly used material in construction work is cement, and the most expensive material in building construction work is cement. Therefore, there have been researches to see how we can bring down the price of cement to a bearable level, such that you can achieve the same purpose with your material, your building, and then you will not be spending too much. And that is what led us to talking about these supplementary cementitious materials. These are basically agricultural residues that have pozzolanic properties, and they can be used as partial replacement for Portland cement, ordinary Portland cement. You can do the mixture on site, and you can even do the mixture in the factory. There have been various tests that have been carried out to see whether mixing on site or mixing in the factory. Of course, mixing in the factory will give you a better result than the one on site. That's what we call intergrinding. Now, 3 basic materials have been considered, tested, and trusted. We have the corn cob ash, we have the sawdust ash or wood ash, and we have the rice husk ash. Now, talking about the corn cob ash, during the rainy season, we have a lot of maize that is around. People eat mouth organ. You have mouth organ. After finishing the corn, you just throw away the cob. Those cobs are very useful material that if they are dried, grinded, burnt, they will now become ash replacement. The corn cob has high percentage of silica, and silica is one of the major material that contributes to the strength of cement. When you talk of calcium silicate, you see the silica, you have the calcium there. So with this corn cob ash, by the time you use it as partial replacement for cement in the production, you are going to be talking about 2 different advantages. Advantage 1, you are talking of control of environmental pollution. The corn that is already wasted and listed here and there will no longer be there. And then you are now also talking about having useful effect on the building itself, contributing to the properties of the building, even in terms of strength and other material. There have been various tests that have been carried out involving the use of blended cement, where we have used various percentage of corn cob ash as percentage replacement for cement in a study that has been carried out for some time now. We found out that the CCA, like I said, has high content of silica, which is a very good material in terms of cement production. And by the time we have used all these percentage replacement, we discovered that you can have up to 15% replacement of CCAs for your cement without any adverse effect, especially when you are building bungalow building. And it has been recommended that, especially for long bungalow building, we waste a lot of money on cement instead of making use of the available materials that we have here. It's only when you are going into high-rise building that we can be talking of ensuring that the cement content you are using should be very, very high. So optimal replacement level have been considered to about 8%. Similar to that corn cob ash, you also have the sawdust ash. The sawdust ash, we go to the sawmill, you have all these sawdust as waste product. And around, they just burn it and waste it, constituting environmental nuisance, and at the same time causing environmental pollution. We have carried out study to show that the ashes of this sawdust can also be successfully incorporated as partial replacement for cement, which will also serve the same purpose as that of the CCA. The advantage of this one again is that you don't need to burn anything. It's already burnt. You just go there to pack the ash and sieve it. You just sieve it to the required level that you want, so that you can mix it with the ash. Then closely related to that is the wood ash. We engage in various burning, cooking with firewood, cooking with even at various gari processing centers, as from other areas where wood ash is produced. These ashes has also been tested and trusted and can be mixed with corn cob with cement replacement to produce the various building material. We have tested it, and you can mix the ash content up to about 15% even for wall production or for concrete production. It can still. We have carried out the test and we have arrived at meaningful result. Similarly, we also talk about the rice husk ash. This one has a very good amorphous content, and the ash content, the silica content is about 82 to 90%. So making it even more reliable and more trustworthy. So where we have rice mills, we can always get this rice husk ash. If you have been to Ilorin before at this our Hillcrest rice production, you have a lot of these rice hulls that are lying fallow, wasted, doing nothing. Same thing you get to Ikorodu rice mill, you have a lot of the ash that is being there, wasted away. In some places where they are doing rice, also within Ogbomoso area, we have little quantity of the rice husk ash. So we can make use of this ash as partial replacement for cement, so as to reduce the cost of the cement that we are using. Now, enough of cement replacement. Apart from replacement of cement using blended cement, we can also have replacement even for the aggregate. Basically, concrete is made of cement, aggregate, and what? Water. So the aggregate in terms of sand and granite, we have also been able to look for alternative material that can be used as the aggregate, and some of them are the things that we are talking about here, because this aggregate, especially when you talk of replacement, when you have them in abundance, then it becomes very useful. Now talk about granite. A load of granite now is about 100,000 naira. About 100,000 naira load of granite. And then we have gravel that can serve as alternative, but that gravel is very weak because the strength you have some mud or some other thing there. So what you can then do is to minimize the cost. We can have a combination of granite and the gravel. And that has been tested, and we carried out some tests on that. If you are talking about mixing for 1:4 mix ratio, that is reinforced concrete. The best you can go is 60% granite and 40% gravel. So with that, you will be saving a lot of money for the granite, and then your building can stay. Because the tests that have been carried out, we found out that even the strength at 28 days, you have 21.15 as against 20.15 Newton per millimeter square. So it is suitable and reliable. And for mixed mass concrete, where you have a mix, ratio of 1:36, we are able to get a strength of above 15 kilonewton per meter square, which is the minimum that is extendable. So that can be used. Now, where you now have palm kernels, especially in some Agbagba area of Osun State, where they are producing oil, you have this palm kernel, and we can use the palm kernel shell as partial replacement either for sand or granite, depending on what you are building. Like I said, it depends on if you are building a bungalow, for example, you want to just put your lintel on top of your window, which is the first house you are building. You don't need to start wasting your time looking for too much granite or too much gravel. You can do percentage. And then if you are building ordinary ground floor, which is on the floor, it's not supporting anything. So you can mix this granite, palm kernel shell, which has been tested and trusted, with the granite. You use it as percentage replacement for granite. Studies have shown that it can work, and we have performed the experiment and found out it can work. Similar to that, you can also use this coconut shell. Coconut shell has also been used. By the time you have coconut in areas we have abundance of coconut, like in Badagry, like in some other riverine area like that. So we finish the coconut, those shells, we can break them and use them as percentage replacement for granite or gravel, especially when you are considering what? Bungalow building. So it can stay. The test that has been carried out shows that we have a lot of coconut shell. About 92 countries have produced a lot of coconut shell. We also have the global production has about 51 billion nuts, which is going to be very useful for you in that area. Then Nigeria alone, we have about 265,000 metric tons of coconut shell, which can be used, and we can always give use of them without much difficulty. Another material that can be used for aggregate replacement is also what we call periwinkle shell. This is common along riverine area. Those of you that goes to Ilaje or some other area, you finish the Edikayegon, and then you have this as waste product littering everywhere. So if it's well washed and taken care of, broken into pieces, it can be used as percentage replacement for granite or gravel. So this is it to combine lightweight with economy as well as being very cheap, and it can also produce good concrete, as studies have been carried out by Osawera and Co. And the mix ratio has also been done in terms of 1:1, 1:3, and 1:6. So a lot of effects in terms of curing method has been done to show that if you adequately cure that periwinkle shell concrete using water instead of just wetting, it will perform similar characteristics to normal concrete that we are used of, and up to 30% replacement has been found suitable for use without any adverse effect. Now that takes care of the concrete, that is cement and concrete. That is one of the most commonly used material in building. Another most important building material is the wall. By the time you have your concrete, you still need to have the wall. And the wall occupies the largest volume in building. You have the right wall, the left, everything. Even when you have the interlocking, or when you have in between walls. So the largest volume of the building is being occupied by this wall. And the most commonly used material for wall is the what? Sandcrete block. The most commonly used material for wall is the sandcrete block. But you find that this sandcrete block is become very expensive, and at the same time, to even get the right quality of sandcrete block to use now, you have to be very selective. You go to some market now and say you want to go and buy a block. A simple test that you need to do is just kick it, bam. You will see the block will just scatter. If you use that type of building, that type of block to build, already you are hearing result. That building will not last. So that is why we are looking for alternative material that is stronger and more reliable. And that is what brings us to laterite interlocking block. This laterite interlocking block is made of laterite and small quantity of cement, just about 5% quantity of cement. Laterite is available here everywhere. Just add the quantity of cement, 5%, and then you have a material that is most suitable. Now, this walling material has three major advantages. If you are using clay, you need to fix up. You don't need mortar. Why? Because look at that block. It has tongues and groove. Tongues and groove. It can key in into one another. So the tongue and groove will key in into one another. So it will just stand like that without need for mortar to lay it. Not only that, by the time you now do that, look at the external layer. The red color itself is beautiful. Therefore, you don't need any plaster outside. Can you see now? You are saving money for mortar. You are saving money for plaster. You are even saving money for paint, because it is already beautified as a result of the light color. So this is a promising material for wall construction. A promising material for wall construction. And this has been tested in terms of the cost and in terms of the strength. You can look at this one, it is solid. Unlike the sandcrete block that is hollow, you have hole inside. This one can even be used to resist bullets. Before any bullet can pass through, it will go through a lot of way. So that is why for any good walling material, the lateral interlocking block is recommended. We are presently undergoing a study in building department where we are building a block using the sandcrete block. We are using this laterite interlocking block. At the end of the day, we find out in terms of cost per meter square and cost per meter round, so that we can also get more advantage on that. So it is a very good material for wall, and it is encouraged that you go into that. Now, one way or the other, you will need reinforcement when you are building, especially when you have to put a beam across opening, especially like for windows, for doors, you will need a reinforcement on top of them. Now, reinforcement, we all know how much it costs now. 1 ton of a 12 mm bar is now over 1 million naira. 1 million naira. So, and if you just need a lintel over your roof, over your door and window in a bungalow building, you don't need that type of reinforcement at all, because the purpose of the reinforcement is just to bridge the gap and make sure it can carry the load on top. And what is the load on top of the lintel? It's just 2 more blocks on top of the lintel, isn't it? Just 2 more blocks on top of the lintel. So in this case, alternative material that can be used for that reinforcement, we have talked about bamboo reinforcement. Bamboo reinforcement, researches is on bamboo reinforcement now, and it has been found that it is even more environmentally friendly. It's more environmentally friendly, and it has 35% more oxygen that can be released, and it can even absorb carbon dioxide. So, and even the tensile strength of that bamboo, if well treated, is relatively close to that of steel. That is why it is recommended, especially if you are talking of elements that are not highly structural. You can still use those bamboo reinforcements. A practical experience has been carried out at NIBRI. NIBRI is Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, where bamboo reinforcement has been used for column and beam reinforcement for a typical residential building. You can see that diagram as it is here. You have the column standing and you have the beam. You have the slab, the second one, figure 8B, that is the slab, where you have the bamboo that is being used as the reinforcement. We only need steel to form as the link so that it can hold the bamboo together. That's the only thing you need. But the length of bamboos, which are the very expensive ones, have been replaced with the length of steel has been replaced with the bamboo, and that has been used to construct that building. And you see the next figure, figure 9, shows a complete building with bamboo as reinforcement for the slab, the column, the lintel, and that building has been completed since 2021 and is standing up today without any problem. The major problem with bamboo could be in terms of attack by termite or attack by insect, and that has been taken care of. We now have coating. You coat the bamboo with asphalt. You coat it with some chemical. Once that is done, no decay, no attack, and it can stand the test of time. So that office, you have about 10 offices there, and each office can accommodate 2 people without any problem. It has been there since 2021. So it is standing. Another material that can be used for steel reinforcement is the farm palm. The farm palm, igi ọ̀pẹ, is also a very good material when it is sliced and placed in a way that it can actually support the element. So the next slide shows you the length of the slicing, and it has been tested that we have adequate strength similar to that of steel. And the main problem again in terms of chemical attack or insect attack has been taken care of by application of chemicals. You can use sodium sulfate, magnesium sulfate to epoxy resin to coat the surfaces, and that will reduce the effect of the acid or so attack on it. There has been also another basic material, which is the NIBRI pozzolana. This was carried out at the Nigerian Building Road and Research Institute. The pozzolana is just like a clay deposit where you get the pozzolana, and it has been treated and it has been used to make blocks by replacing the cement content with about 30%. So this is also another good material for use for that cement. There is also another research on the roofing sheet, where you can also have the roofing sheet as alternative material to the most expensive corrugated iron sheet or aluminium sheet. These are very expensive materials now. So, but with this NIBRI roofing sheet, all you need is just some granite, and then you have some cement, and then you have some fine aggregate. You can use lime in place of cement, and then you can produce the roofing sheet there. And for the tent that you see there, it is what has been used to sustain it. Now, having talked about all these materials which are available and which we can use for the production of building, how then can you reduce the stresses associated with building? You can reduce the stresses associated with building by taking into consideration these 7 basic points that I have over there. Number 1, you want to build. First, you need to set your goal clearly. Before any work commences, you have to understand what exactly is it that you want to achieve. Are you going for functionality or aesthetics? Like I said, functionality should be your basic aim at the very first stage of building. Will it perform the function for which I want it? I want a bedroom. I want a sitting room. That is it. For now, the basic thing you should be thinking of the functionality. The aesthetics can come later. Once you move in, you can put whatever you want inside the house. Number 2, you set a realistic budget. Building is such that you don't need the total sum of money to build it at a time. You build it piecemeal. So that is why I know most of us, how many times we obtain a cooperative loan before we're able to obtain and complete our building. So what you need to do is, okay, this year my cooperative loan is just going to be 100,000. What can that get? Okay, will you be able to do the foundation? Let me go for the foundation. So you do your foundation and then stay. Wait for another year. Get another 200,000. Okay, now let's do the floor, German floor. Wait for another year. Let's do the wall. So realistic budget, so that you don't go and just start putting yourself in too much unnecessary wahala. Going to borrow loan from bank. You can't go and borrow loan from bank to build house. The house is not going to generate money for you. So why are you going to go and borrow loan to build house from that one? So just set your budget right and make sure you have a contingency plan. Then you also have to set realistic timeline. You know that within so month you can finish the foundation. Within so month you can finish the wall. So that you don't go and start practicalizing what is not suitable. Of course, very important is the fact that you must engage a registered builder. We all make that mistake. We are trying to do penny wise, pound foolish. You just go and get one roadside bricklayer that says he can also build. I think call that is your joy. Won't call it, but it will not be done perfectly. If you have a builder to build the house for you, he will not only manage your resources for you, right from the design. He'll be able to tell you, is this design feasible? Is it not feasible? Is it maintainable? Because it's not just building. We have the habit of building, not considering the maintainability thereafter. And that is what we sustain the building. Maintainability culture is very important. So people will build houses like this. They will not think of the water from the roof, the water from the toilet and so on. Where will it pass? And you pass through a house and you will now see water leaking everywhere. You see? When you not give house to builder, why will it not happen? So the builder will have told you, okay, you think of what's going to happen thereafter. So you can channel the water appropriately to where it's supposed to be. It's very, very important. Then it's necessary also to obtain the necessary permissions. Before you start building, ensure that you get your permission from local planning authority, so that they will not come and give you stop work order. You start work and you see that red mark, bam. That's because you have not done what you are supposed to do. So ensure you get the necessary permission so that you can be sure that nobody will come and disturb you. So very important. Then, of course, make sure you use the right type of material. Right type of material. When we say use concrete 124, make it 124. Don't make it 148. And you can do that by the time you engage people that are not professional. So make sure you follow the right quality and quantity. Then, of course, effective communication is very essential between the client and the people that are working on site. This is what I want. Okay, this is what you want, but this is better off. Why not let's do it this way? So if they give you advice, you should try and see if that advice is okay. No, don't say, just give me what I want. Before the advice comes in, they must have gone through a lot of things before the advice be given in that way. So, all said and done, if we go through all these things, we'll be able to build and reduce our stress. In conclusion, this lecture has examined the use of locally available and tested alternative materials for building construction. And in order to address the challenges of high cost of building, especially high cost of housing delivery, it is better we consider these alternative materials which can be used for building purposes. Then also, if you are in an area and you want to build, what you first of all need to do is look at that area you want to build. What are the available alternative materials? It's not everywhere you are going to get palm kernel shell. It's not everywhere you are going to get periwinkle shell. But at least look at the area. What are the readily available material that can be used, rather than going to import material and giving yourself additional cost. So that's what we are saying. So with proper handling and the use of this material, you can have a lot of savings, and it can also bring you a lot of other materials. Anything. So, acknowledgement. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Glory be to God Almighty for this very first faculty lecture series. We have been planning it for long, and Almighty Allah has made it become a reality. We thank God. We thank Almighty God for that. I also want to thank the university management, ably led by our indefatigable Vice Chancellor, our own Professor R.O. Rom Khalilu, ably represented here by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Innovation. Our Vice Chancellor has been breaking a lot of ground, and he has been doing a lot of ground. But there's one more ground that he has to break, and that is what? He needs to categorize us by the end of this month. Can somebody say amen? I also want to thank the registrar, Mrs. Olayinka Balogun. She was here earlier, like I said. This is an efficient registrar. She has been up and doing since she became the registrar, and one of the things that is accountable to her is the fact that at the end of this last review exercise, immediately there was this pronouncement from the A&P. The next thing is, within 24 hours, your letter will come out. I want to give it to her. Let's clap for her. Similarly, we have our own accountable bosser, Mr. Kennedy Olatokun. He also promised us that we are going to get our student money, and we are getting it. Let's clap for him, sir. The librarian is also well appreciated. Our adorable librarian, Professor A.S. Ibijwa. Please thank greetings to her. I also want to thank the deans that are present here, the provosts that are here. The provost of College of Medicine came in a little bit earlier. Madam, you are recognized. Thank you very much. And the other provosts that are here. I also want to appreciate our dean, the dean of environment, our own mama in the faculty. All HODs are well appreciated, and all professors in the faculty are also well appreciated. I want to thank my mentors. I cannot forget Professor E.B. Lucas. We call him Baba Lucas. He's still alive, hale and healthy. We pray for more healthy and long lives for him. He has been able to build a lot of professors in the Faculty of Engineering. We really appreciate him. Let's clap for him again. We also have the likes of Professor Ojediro, the Vice Chancellor of Bells University, Professor Adeyemi, late Professor Ogurombi, late Professor A.M. Salau, and late Professor Raji. These are the people that molded me up at the early stage of my profession. I really appreciate it. I want to thank also the Dean of Engineering. That is Professor Zetke. He's a friend. The Dean of Engineering is a friend. You know, I was in engineering before. So, and then I also have my people in civil engineering department. So I want to appreciate them for the times we have been together. I should not forget my collaborators within and outside Nigeria. I've worked with people from South Africa, Professor Ikotun, Professor Walid, and so on and so forth. I want to appreciate them. They have been very wonderful. Members of the Cement and Concrete Research Team, CIMCON, has also been very wonderful. Just like the person that read my citation said, this group has been able to place Ladoke on the world map in several occasions. Just last year, we were together in South Africa to attend the 4th International Conference. So we have been doing wonders. We pray that God will continue to assist us. The Nano Group, research group, is also appreciated. We work hand in hand. I want to appreciate friends and well-wishers within and outside the university community. And all staff of building department are also recognized, especially Professor Olani Pekun, who is here with us on sabbatical from Obafemi Awolowo University. Thank you very much for your support. I also want to appreciate all my PG and undergraduate students. They are the ones by which we do all this research work. And just this year, we are able to produce 2 new PhD students. I want to invite you for their convocation ceremony next week. Then, at professional level, I want to thank my president, the president of NRB, the chairman of Common, members of the Oyo State chapter, and then the ABBA Executive, Association of Builders in Academia. For my spiritual family, I want to thank the Chief Imam of Ladoke Muslim Community, Professor Tijani Abdulwahab, the chairman of the community, Professor Onolapo, I saw him coming, and then all members of the community are also well appreciated. Finally, I want to appreciate my darling wife, my sweetheart, Al-Aja Badirat Kehinde Rahim. Stand up for recognition. And let me also use this video to appreciate all our students in building department. Clap for yourself. And other students in the faculty of environmental sciences. I want to thank you very much for your rapt attention. Thank you.
That is a powerful lecture. Let's appreciate Professor Aide Rahim. Thank you, sir. And I want to congratulate the Faculty of Environmental Science. Congratulations to you for this maiden edition. It's now time for question and answer. Please, let's be seated. It's time for question and answers. I want to recognize the presence of Provost, College of Earth Science, Professor Adenike Olugbenga Bello. You are welcome, ma. Questions and answer. All right, sir. 1. Any other person? Even students, you can ask question. 2. All right, sir. Any other person? Sir, you can move forward, sir.
Thank you, Prof, for the very brilliant lecture. Scholars have been telling us that there are a lot of differences between a house and a home. a home, and a shelter. So that you can have a house without having a home. You can be sheltered without having a house, not to talk of having a home. Please clarify. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, our professor, for a very good presentation. I have two questions. My name is Adejiro Adeniyi, Department of Fine and Applied Arts. The first question is, in our environment, we have plenty of bamboo. What type of chemicals can you recommend that we can use to treat if it happens that the area we are living, we have plenty of sand? Can we change ratio from 1:4 in order to reduce the cost of production? If you have plenty of sand, change that formula from 1:4. So what? Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for an insightful lecture. You can see that we all followed from the start to the end. It is because of the importance of the topic. There is nobody that wants to build with stress. But as part of your stress reduction principles, you mentioned that we should engage a registered builder. Please, where are these registered builders? All we know are bricklayers around. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof, for that beautiful presentation. I want to ask that, sir, we have not been able to see people utilizing these all-important new innovations. I want to ask, why is it that people are not buying into it, especially that of supplementary cementitious material? We have not been seeing people using it, and I discovered that it has been identified over long years ago. So, what's the problem, sir?
An addendum, sorry. Prof, sir, the guest lecturer, your lecture is largely on local materials, but you did not talk about laying perigun on the foundation for the purpose of longevity, sustainability, and safety of the prospective occupier of the proposed building. Perigun, igi perigun tí wọ́n fi ń tẹ́lẹ̀ foundation pé kí ló lè pẹ́ kọ́mọ wò ó kí nǹkan ọmọ sáwọn ti ń gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ bá sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ìyẹn náà. And it even prevents termite infection, termite attack. So locally it is a spiritual issue, and some people believe in it. It's working. Include it in your research. Tell us something about it, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to appreciate you again for the questions. It means that you all were following me and you understand the question. Let's start from the man, Pereku man. Pereku life or Pereku is not scientific. It is spiritual, like you have said. And whatever we do here is we do it scientifically. So we cannot lay Pereku and say because of that we give long life. So then talking about why are people not using the supplementary cementitious materials? Awareness. A lot of people are not aware. Just like the question that follow it that said, we are at the register builder. You see, another awareness. Another awareness. We have the register builder in an abundance. So you are only aware of engineers. You are aware of architects. But there are the builders. The registered builder. The architect will give you the design of the building. Good. The engineer will calculate the forces that will make the building stand up. But you need a professional who is now in charge of the building production management, ensuring that all the dreams of the architect, the engineers are now made to stand up. You get it? These are the professional builders. They are the builders, and they are the ones that are being produced by building departments across the country. We have them in abundance. We have building departments in OAU, in ABU, in Unilag, in UniOsun, in Ladoke, and so on and so forth. So they are producing builders. But there's always been wahala of builder engineer. You see? So up there, I won't tell you engineers what they can do. But by the time the architect wants to do the work of a builder, and the engineer also wants to do the work of a builder, that's why you not see the builder. So the builders are abundant, and it's just a matter of awareness, and that's part of why this lecture is very, very important. Now, talking about changing the mix ratio from 1:4 because you have enough sand. You are calling for more yepe than cement. And the building will eventually collapse. Even if you have more than abundant sand, you cannot change that ratio. That ratio is to ensure that both of them interact adequately well, and they can effectively support the building. I think it's very important. Then, talking about bamboo, we have a lot of bamboo here and there. Like you said, we have to take care of the termite and some other. And I said the chemical you can use is bitumen. You can use bitumen to coat the bamboo. Once you use bitumen to coat, so you can use that to coat the bamboo. With that, no termite will come in, and then there will not be any. Then finally, talking about the difference between a house and a home. A house is a building. A home is an establishment where you can live and enjoy, where you can have peace of mind. You can have a lot of house without having home. When you have a home, it's beyond a house. You have a home, by the time you have the house, the other things that makes the house meaningful. You can have a house if you don't have the other facilities to make it a home. No electricity, no water, no toilet facility, then you don't have a home. You just have a house. And most importantly, if you want to have a beautiful home, go and get married to a beautiful wife. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Time will not permit to take any more questions. I would like to call Professor Akim Muili for the vote of thanks.
Alhamdulillah. We give thanks to Almighty God for making this occasion to come to reality. The first faculty lecture series of our faculty. I want to say that on behalf of the Professor Emu Areu, I want to say a big thank you to our Vice Chancellor, ably represented by Professor Dawood Alaromi. We say a big thanks to you, and we know that Dauda Alaromi. Also, I would like to say a big thanks to our registrar, because he was here when we were presenting. Also, I would like to say a big thanks to our bursar, and also a big thanks to our librarian. Also, I would like to express our appreciation to Provost College of Agriculture and Renewable Resources. Thank you, sir. And also, I would like to express our appreciation to Provost of Health Sciences. Also, I would like to express my appreciation to the Dean, all the Deans of all the Deans of faculties. Also, I would like to express our appreciation to the Dean, Faculty of Environmental Sciences. We are grateful, ma. Also, the organizer of first lecture series in person of Professor Ladoke Akintolauniversity, and also I can see the member of the team, including myself, Dr. Abokede, Dr. Adeoti, and all other members of the team. I can see our member coming from University of Ilorin, Dr. Laniyan. We are recognized. I can see you. Also, I've seen a lot of professors here present. Also, we appreciate all the deans. We also appreciate all HOD architecture, HOD surveying, HOD estate management, HOD fine apply art, HOD survey and informatics, HOD building, HOD is our presenter for today. And also we also appreciate you, all Ladoke. We also appreciate all Ladoke. May Almighty God continue to be with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let's rise up for the national anthem in a descending order.
Strong and the
Thank you, sir. Let's remain standing until the high table take their leave.
Short announcement, please. There will be a photograph outside. And I would like to announce to you also that, as the Bible will say, nobody sets his hand on the plow and looks back. Ayabele Obeare. Our next lecture is going to Department of Architecture and is going to be delivered by Professor Olurunke Odunjo. So we'll be contacting you, getting across to you about the dates very soon. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you all.
Allure my feelings, make it so timeless. One race for them.